What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and free everybody! Everybody who's ever done anything wrong, just let them go. Because the coof, this is not the first time I've seen a moronic take in regards to releasing people who are currently locked up to protect them. First, it came from Anita, in fact, and now today, the star of the Joker movie, Joaquin Phoenix, has called for the governor of New York to grant clemency to people who are locked up to keep them safe. It's an interesting point of view to take. I wonder how many he will offer housing in his mansions. I suppose a couple, maybe 30 or 40 of them. It's ridiculous. Let's take a look at this, okay? So there's a couple of articles that are covering it. Let's take a look at Bounding into Comics, covered it quite well as well. Joker actor Joaquin Phoenix calls for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to grant clemency. Joker actor Joaquin Phoenix called for that in a video posted to Joaquin Phoenix's fan Instagram account. The actor explains his call. And eventually, I'm not going to play the video, but he doesn't specify who should be freed. He just says they should be freed. The argument here, I suppose, is that, well, if you can't keep people safe in your care, then you should let them go. He says in this, the lives of so many people depend on his action. No one deserves to be deleted while locked up from the sickness. Phoenix states that the spread of the coof in prisons threatens the health and safety of all of us. Not really. How does that work? I think I'm pretty fine if something's going on in a lockup. I don't mean to sound cruel, but I don't think that that's a reasonable point. He continues, when you are locked up, there is no such thing as social distancing. I suppose that's reasonable. There is a such thing about it. It's just way more difficult. And ensuring good hygiene is not an option. Actually, it is. There's plenty of soap in there and showers. I mean, I've seen HBO's Oz. I know there are showers. Phoenix adds, leaders must do everything possible to prevent people who are locked up and those who work there from becoming ill and spreading the coof. He then calls on New York Governor Governor Cuomo, to grant clemency to New York people who are locked up. I'm calling on him to take action on New York by granting clemency to New Yorkers. He doesn't say old people. He doesn't say, non-federal, types of thing. He just says everybody. According to Cornell Law School, executive clemency is the power of a president or governor to pardon a person convicted to or commute or shorten the sentence to be served. The New York Post reports that Governor Cuomo previously released 1,100 low-level parole violators due to the spread of this. Joaquin Phoenix's recent history of activism is deep. I mean, he got locked up for doing some climate change stuff. Look, he's kind of a wacky dude. I don't know. I suppose I would have to see some science that releasing people early did have a curve flattening effect. I've not seen anyone who's calling for it actually provide this data. Maybe it exists. Just because it's popular to say doesn't mean it's right. Would I support, again, low levelers, who are due to get out later this year, getting out a little early? Yeah, I probably would support that. Now, but leave it to Anita, who last week was on this. She was ahead of the game a couple weeks ago. Self-labeled feminist media critic recently took to Twitter to question why hasn't America released everyone in prison. Sarkeesian is primarily known for bashing media properties and celebrities that do not align with her own personal worldview. Back in November, she roasted Jon Favreau and the popular Star Wars series The Mandalorian. Favreau and The Mandalorian are not The only people she's gone after, she went after Tyler Ninja Blevins back in September for his personal decision not to stream with women. By the way, that's totally fine. And then talked about, she's also taken issue with Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp, claiming the entire plot is about saving damsels in distress. But let's actually look at the actual tweet relevant to this video. The quote says, "Why hasn't America frozen rents and mortgages? Why hasn't America nationalized its health services? Why hasn't America released everyone currently locked up? Are you joking? How many are you going to take in?" And I want you to take the absolute weirdest and most extreme ones. Why hasn't America issued a sheltered-in-place for the whole nation? Now is a good time to read up to alternatives to capitalism. Interesting take. I mean, I don't know how many people who, how many cannibals Anita Sarkeesian is willing to take in. It's not, I would say, something I agree with. Now, if you want to make the argument of, hey, we've got 20,000 people due to get out this year, if we let them out a little early, we'll reduce the spread. But I think people need to see that data because, quite frankly, you need to take care of people who aren't locked up first. Is that mean to say? It's just how I feel. No, I don't feel bad if some dude who gets little kids into his van with candy gets the coof and doesn't have the correct appropriate equipment while law-abiding citizens are still in need. I guess I just don't care. Cruel, maybe. Would I support some fundraising or something like that to get the masks or to get more antibacterial spray or rubs and things like that, or wipes into the system? Yeah, I would actually support that. See, I support actual practical solutions and not, let's change the entire thing that drives this country. You have obviously, hot takes from Fran Drescher. I agree. Capitalism has become another word for the ruling class elite. When profit is at the expense of all things of true value, we got a problem. Fran Drescher is worth like $15 million. And Mark Ruffalo, it's time for an economic revolution. Capitalism today is failing us, killing us, and robbing us of our children's futures, says a guy worth like $30 million. I don't know what it is about, the more money you make, the more idiotic you become, but it appears to be that way. And I don't think I'd ever want to win the lottery. I don't think I'd ever want to accumulate large amounts of wealth because apparently it makes you absolutely moronic. You don't get it. And even go back to, we can look how Fox is covering it. Joker star Joaquin Phoenix calls for New York to release some, citing the coof. Hollywood actor Joaquin called for New York to release some inmates. It doesn't say some, though. He just says grant clemency. You can see, gotta love Hollywood. He played the Joker. Now he's a joke. Maybe this mouth breather can let them live with him in his mansion. They certainly have no business on the street. Stupid idea. The ones have already been released have already committed more crimes. Well, recidivism is obviously a thing. I think that all these Hollywood celebrities should volunteer. I'm sure we could look at J.K. Rowling. She's got like probably 50 or 100 empty rooms. Why not house some of these people yourself? I don't think that Joaquin Phoenix would feel the same way about this when these people go back to doing what they are. Now, I'm not saying that there are pencil pushers in there or people that, didn't pay their child support or things like that, that maybe would have low risk of releasing. That's a conversation to maybe be had. But what about everyone else? What about all the offenders that are there because they've done truly heinous things? Should we leave them in or should we let them out? And how many of them are you willing to put in your home? This is just another classic Hollywood moment of absolute idiocy that it doesn't help anybody. I suppose it gets Joaquin Phoenix retweets. The guy, again, in his defense, has always been an absolute blockhead in terms of some of his takes. But this idea that we need to free everybody, I don't know. I can't say that I agree with that. But maybe if you're watching this video, you would let me know exactly how many you would like to take in if you think that we should free them all. Hollywood, man, I hope Hollywood never, ever, ever changes. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.